since the governor closed everything in March. And then I don't know if they're gonna reopen them or how to get them reopened. And if they reopen them, people say, well, you can't use this if you don't wear gloves or masks and all this stuff. Or they're gonna move all the computers around or whatever they're gonna do. Because the libraries, as far as I know, are still all closed.
Right. Well, that's basically gonna be up to your mayors, because your mayor's gonna have control of that. And like I said, the county sheriff can put pressure on the city executives, the city council, on getting stuff done.
The libraries here are county.
Right,
They're completely county.
right. So your county sheriff would put pressure on whoever would be in charge of reopening the libraries. And I would talk to your sheriff on that. Yes.
So we have a local store here, I don't know if you mentioned the name, but several people I know, including me, I've been hassled about the mask thing. So I've been using the ADA thing. This is the first time I've
Right.
heard to not use that, but go with the First Amendment of the Constitution. Is that what you recommend? And drop the ADA thing?
I believe Donna is working on paperwork on that currently, but as a First Amendment challenge, and say that you're denying me access, you're discriminating against me because I won't wear a mask because of my religious beliefs. No, she's giving me we got business know the law when the government comes knocking. Businesses know the law, notice of liability, that's what we're talking about, okay? Yeah, no mask required, constitutionally compliant. Our business is constitutionally compliant. We're not gonna force you to wear a mask.
What we're talking about is when the consumer wants to enter and they're being denied entrance because they're not wearing a mask. So we're not talking about the business, we're on the other side of this. Now,
Right.
I have used that. People don't want to lie. Does anyone have a real religious reason not to wear a mask?
I do.
Oh, I
Well, I have.
I don't believe in suicide.
Yeah.
As long as you believe that, I think you can claim that. But if you don't believe it, don't pretend to believe it.
Sunny
You follow me? Because is it really against your religion to wear a mask?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, so if you
Because
don't want to claim
I've
a
used that.
religious reason, if you don't want to, because if you're an honest person, you don't want to, and you're not religious, you don't want to say it's against my religion, so you want to, how do you honestly?
How about it's against my faith? Because I realize that my faith says, I don't want to kill myself.
Rick, how about this?
Fourth Amendment, right.
Our inalienable rights, the first one is what?
Yeah.
Life.
Life.
Yeah.
This affects my health. I'm not wearing it. Does that fly or not?
Yes, it does.
Okay, here you go.
Yes, it does.
How about you write just a straight protest and say, I disagree with these orders, I'm protesting this mandate?
The way I want to protest is open your business. That is a protest. We need more businesses to open. And courage is what we need behind it. And God will give you the courage. Satan will give you the fear to stay closed. Yes, sir.
What are you recommending for small businesses, mom and pops, who are honestly in fear of the fine, to do? I mean, they can't afford the 10 grand, so what are you telling them that, listen, like you said return to sender, I get that, but there probably gonna be more coming down the pipe from the state.
Right.
Can I answer this one?
Certainly.
All right, I'm gonna answer it for you. So, this is on backtobusinessasyousual.com. Rick and I work very closely together. I'm not following any of these rules. It's a deception. I refuse to play. Okay? If they write me a fine, I'm not gonna pay it. If they say they're gonna take my business license, I'm gonna do my business anyway. If they lock my door, I'm going to call them and say, you got 8 hours to get that lock off my door. If they don't take it off, I'm gonna cut it off and open it back up. Okay? Here's the thing, if we don't test this, we're sunk.
I'm going to ask this question now myself. This is my question, right?
Okay, I don't care.
Same thing.
Right? I've had people come
It's the same
by and say,
question.
no one official papers. Mine's different.
I'm going to add that on too.
Knock yourself out. Please.
See you later. Okay, so how important is it to, you took that one out, right? How important is it to revoke your U.S. citizenship? Please speak to the American States National movement that's happening now.
Okay. The one thing that this is a little outside the box, but.
Can you repeat the question for the people in the back?
Okay, why is it important to revoke your U.S. citizenship? A U.S. citizen is an employee of the United States government, which makes you have to abide by statutes and codes that are unlawful. Okay, it's tyrannical, and to become a state national, I think you would be more apt to discuss that. And with the reason why I say that is I do things a lot differently than other people have when it comes to state assemblies and what have you. I'm very vocal when I go into a courtroom. I'm not intimidated, and when I deal with law enforcement officers, I can tell a little story to make you realize that what I'm talking about is my younger brother, who's quite large. When he was a state trooper, 20 years ago, Christmas, showed up and saw the plates on my automobile. And he shows up in his cruiser, in uniform for Christmas dinner. And I said, way to dress up for Christmas dinner, Mike. And he looks over and he sees my license plates. He says, I ought to arrest you for those license plates. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. Your misdemeanor against me, I'll turn around and put it on you as a felony against you. And my father, who's 6'6", standing there, former police officer, former Secret Service, says, Mike, better listen to your brother. And my dad's like, how can you agree with him? He's out of his God-blessed mind. You can't travel like that, or you can't drive like that. He says, Mike, you better listen to him. He'll get you in trouble. Anyhow, I went into his cruiser. He had the Lexus Nexus in there, and I pulled it open to 502.003, and I said, read that. My brother reads it. He goes, oh my God, I didn't know that was in there. And I said, yeah, ignorance of the law is what, Mike? So a lot of police officers don't know what they're doing is wrong. They don't know. I had a sergeant that was 17 years in that was working for Harris County, or actually Houston PD. And when he pulled me over, I pulled off into a parking lot, explained the law to him, and went later that morning, had breakfast with him. Been on the force 17 years. We had breakfast and coffee together, and I'm showing him how the law is and what's written in the law books. This man had 3 years left to his retirement. Quit that day. He says, I can't do this. This is satanic. We're being used. And I'm like, yes, you are. These judges are making 18% off of each conviction. 18%, and it goes to their pension fund, so they're not paying taxes on it. Each district courthouse each district courthouse, you can look this up, don't just take my word on it, each district court has got a D&B number, Dun and Bradstreet number. What is a Dun and Bradstreet number for? For-profit corporation. Why do you think that these courts have a 98% conviction rate? The stuff that I know would make your head spin. I'm just going to stick on what we're talking about right now, is they have no lawful authority, and you read that Constitution, learn your rights, your protected rights. We have unalienable rights. Our government is supposed to be there to protect those. And we got to hold their feet to the fire. If we don't, if we stay close, we're going to die anyway. You know, we have got to open up. We've got to stop following these false edicts that they're putting out there. And I mean, this is where God's got to come into our lives, and we got to say, God, help me learn what my rights are, because you gave those to me. Government did not. Yes, sir.
What was on your license plate?
I have the Gladstone flag, don't tread on me. With the rattlesnake says, don't tread on me. I have that on all my automobiles. As a matter of fact, you can go out there and look at the black Lexus, and you'll see what I have. I never, it's been since 2001. I haven't had a driver's license since 2001. I've only been pulled over one time, traveling all the way from Texas to Washington. I was followed by state troopers in almost every state. They didn't have the guts to pull me over. I got pulled over, and I have Donna as a witness here, and it was coming to one of these meetings. I was going to Doug's, I believe. Am I correct on that? I got pulled over going 67 and a 50. Did I get a ticket?
Nope.
Did they thank me and shake my hand? I taught them the law. It's not my job, I knew I had to get to Doug's and didn't need to, but no license plate, no driver's license, no registration on my automobile, because once you register something, you give it over to the government. Most people are unaware of that.
I have a question about applying for jobs and being an employee. What if they ask you to wear masks, do they have other rules or whatever it is that are against the Constitution?
Well, if they're asking you, say, look, are you denying me employment? Are you going to deny me employment because of my religious belief? That's it. That's the way I would handle it.
Where do you suggest getting, good knowledge and understanding of the Constitution? I mean, yes, you can read the Constitution, but understanding
There's one of the best out there, and he backs this up, is go to Hillsdale College.
Yeah.
They do not take any funds from the government. So they're not mandated or pushed in any way. And go into that, that's a good place to start. They have constitutional education 101, which is very good.
You even have free courses online, constitutional protections, you learn everything.
Absolutely. And you gotta learn how to flex your rights. And, you know, most of these law enforcement officers, they don't know the law. You know, and they think they do. But when you teach them, I've never had an argument with a police officer that he didn't thank me in the end. I said, you know what? I didn't. I was unaware of this. And by the grace of God, there's a lot of good cops out there. My brother right now, never finished the story, the one that said he was gonna arrest me at Christmas, well, he became a Texas Ranger. Now, he left because he couldn't, he said, I'm not pulling people over. Because I explained to him it was road piracy. And he's like, it is. It absolutely is. He used to brag about being able to, he called it his honeycomb, where it went from 55 down to 35 in a turn. And he would sit there and wait for people to go by. And he bragged about writing 72 tickets in one day. His quota was 90 tickets a month. So it's like, I just got 72 in one day. Just sitting in what he called his honeycomb. He said, I can't do this anymore. So he started doing accident investigation for DPS, which is Texas State Troopers. And he left that, became a Texas Ranger. Now my younger brother, who's a mountain of a guy, he's a U.S. Marshal that goes after the top 10 most wanted. So that Christmas, I brought him from being a state trooper to being a U.S. Marshal. Wow. So he can thank me for that. Yes.
So I got a couple things, some commentary that'll lead into a question.
Okay.
Kind of going back to the first question about this whole emergency orders and mandates. My understanding, what part of the foundation of the deception that we're dealing with here is that, you know, to use your terminology, the Constitution, the original Constitution, is acting as a contract, and there's another contract that has been constructed that's being placed either over or underneath that. One of them supersedes the other, right?
That's where we're going with British Admiralty law. That was something that was brought up. What is a bar attorney? A bar attorney, British accredited register. Whenever you hire a bar attorney to represent you in court, that automatically makes you an imbecile of unsound mind or an infant. I'm not kidding. It's in the law books. It's in the law books. And you automatically give jurisdiction to the court. Why else? I mean, you got a prosecutor that's against you, you got your own bar attorney that's against you, and you got a judge against you. Now you just gotta pray the jury has some common sense.
Yes.
But, go ahead.
So, the point that I'm getting at is we've got to learn to discern the difference between the two.
Right.
And do you know if they're in this, I don't even know what to call it right now in this moment, but this other constitution that is masquerading as the constitution that we all think,
Right.
that we've been conditioned to think as the governing document
Well,
of the land.
there's-
Does it say somewhere in there?
Yeah,
that-
government is still bound. Government is still bound by that contract. We just gotta learn how to put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, we created this Frankenstein by not knowing our rights and letting them trample over our rights.
Rick?
Yes, sir.
Let me explain this so it's, I think, understandable, okay? Any governor can make any law or any rule, they can claim it's a law, a mandate, that goes against the Constitution. It's real simple. You just say no,
It's exactly correct.
period.
Right.
You don't have to do it, just don't do it. Like, here's my friend Tom here. I can tell Tom, go do a headstand against the wall. I don't have any authority to do that. He doesn't have to do it. We don't have to do everything that we're told. We are obligated to follow the law, which is the Constitution, period. So, there's no way to stop these governors that are out of control, and many of them communists.
Absolutely.
You're not going to stop them.
Right,
They're
right,
gonna
I
keep
get
rising.
that.
It's we the people that have to
We have
stand up.
got to take the country back.
The question that I have though is there in this other constitution that they're using to get things done to manipulate people, does it say somewhere in there that they have certain authority under emergency circumstances
No.
to make these?
No emergency order can trump the Constitution.
Right, and that's what we have to understand, that's the
Yeah.
point that I want
That's
to
what we
get
gotta
at.
become aware of.
There's
is
several decisions.
The contract is the contract. You can't change that contract to say, well, it's emergency, we take your rights.
Right,
No,
'cause it doesn't
without
say
due
that in
pro-
there.
yeah, without due process of law, you cannot take somebody's rights, and their rights are their property. And they can't change something midstream. And it's like with the licensing, when I hear the health inspector saying, well, I'm gonna take your liquor license. And I ask him, okay, it's all because of COVID? Yeah. I said, well, bottom line is you don't have that authority because you're violating and trying to change the contract. Look at the license. I always tell business owners, read your license. See all the things that they can take your license for, not complying with.
Doesn't like L&I, I have a business with one employee who doesn't have access to the public, just employees working in different various fields. And when the mask law came out, I actually got people advice to not enforce our employees to have to wear masks in various parts unless they chose to want to wear them. And the advice I got back was a few different bullets, but L&I passed an emergency rule that mandates that employers have to follow the rules. And the fines were very steep, up to $70,000 and $7,000. Doesn't L&I actually have the authority to fine
No,
businesses?
you
And the
cannot
question
change-
was if you were willful and not following the law that an employee did contract COVID, and the employer was negligible and willfully did not follow the mandate, you could lose your workers' compensation, which would have a lot of domino effects negative for a business owner. Are those not really real?
Listen, if I have the flu and I go to a bar, okay, and I give somebody the flu, can those people sue the bar owner?
Well, what about if it's not open to the public? You're not open to the public, but you still have employees working within an environment. So this isn't open to the public, it's a manufacturing facility.
Right. And what you're asking is, no, they don't have the authority to change those contracts in midstream. And you're not putting anybody's health at risk, you're putting their health at risk by making them wear a mask 28 hours a day.
I agree with you. I also am concerned that you would start to get these fines in the mail. If one person feels unsafe.
You don't open them. You don't open them and return to sender, send it back. They have no authority. And if we remember, you didn't hear in the beginning, when we were talking about, even if it went through legislature, and they called it law, okay? We go back to the Supreme Court ruling by John J. Marshall that stated in 1803 that has never been overturned. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution, number one, is no law. 2, has no force of law. And 3, can be ignored. If it's repugnant to the Constitution, if it violates your rights, it has no authority.
That's information.
It's also unprovable because we already are completely full of all kinds of coronaviruses for millions of years. So you can't prove that I gave a coronavirus to you or you to me. Unprovable.
Also, I'll address that as well. I spoke to our regional L&I guy here, his name is Rick White, and I can get you that information for his contact information, email, and cell phone and office phone as well. I almost wanted to start recording halfway through because I could not believe what he was telling me. I am talking to the L&I guy, and I'm thinking I'm going to get some super vague answers like I got from his boss in Tacoma. And so finally, after that vague conversation, like, look, do we have a regional person here in Port Angeles that you can give me? Yeah. So I give him a call, and he says a couple of different things. He had said that he would never, ever close his business down until L&I could bring citations all day long. That he, as an L&I consultant, and has been for over 28 years, I believe it's 28 years, he would never, ever willfully close his business down with any threat from L&I. He would make them due process, again, go get a warrant to come into my premises. And that's another thing too, we're so scared about, I don't even know, like, can the Department of Health just like come into my place without my permission? Can L&I do the same? They absolutely cannot. L&I, any representative of L&I is supposed to ask to enter your premises, which you can say, no thanks, have a good day, go get a warrant. Okay, then you let them in, and then they're gonna find you, they'll tick all their boxes on how you're breaking the rules, they'll threaten you, they'll say all these things, and then they'll fine you, and then you don't pay. I mean, that's really, it was just a couple weeks ago that, like, in my head, it kind of got to a point where I was scared, like, what if they take my license? What if they take my business license or my massage therapy license? Okay, I just what Deb said, I'm gonna continue to go to work. I mean, whatever, you cannot take this from me.
That's what they did to me. I continue to go to work.
There's no way around this without panicking. If we don't fight this, we're sunk.
It's possible that we
And
go
your
to jail.
sheriff.
It is
Yeah.
possible that we go to jail. It is possible that they go into your business and physically take that piece of paper they call a license. But at the end of the day, play it through. Play it all the way through. I mean, as long as you're selling goods, your employees have a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether or not you have a license, whether or not you have $1 million in fines sitting on your desk, if you keep selling goods, then your business can still remain open.
And the other resource I came across that might be interesting to people was called Citizens Take Charge. It kind of sounds like what this group is all about, but they're trying to bring together groups that feel like this to be able to band together, like nationally, to put enough people together that feel the same and say, F you pretty much. But that was something.
Yeah, the Constitutional Law Group is teamed up with militias, you name it, from Maine to Hawaii. And like I said, over 10,000 businesses have opened up, and they're still open to this day. And the thing we gotta focus on is we gotta get our numbers more up.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna state is your sheriff, become friends with your sheriff. And he can kick the IRS out, he can kick the FBI out. He's the top dog in that county, okay?
Wow.
He's the one that's supposed
Wish
to be
I'd known that 10
protecting
years
you.
ago.
Is anybody here know Sheriff Benedict or is friendly with Sheriff Benedict? You are? Oh, you have a question?
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I will, just since we keep talking about the sheriff real quick, if you don't mind me interjecting. So I I did reach out to the sheriff, to come and address us, and maybe not even address us if he's not comfortable with that. You know, there's a lot of fear. We all have fear for different reasons, and the sheriff, has some legitimate fear, and so I get that. He said he would take a few days to think about the request and get back to me on Thursday, and he declined our offer. And so our original conversation was interesting because he said, there are huge holes in this mandate that you can get through. And so I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna tell me some things I don't know. This is good stuff. And so he goes, so you just tell them that you have a medical exemption. And I go, well, Sheriff, I don't wanna lie. I don't wanna lie every day, multiple times a day. That's not the point of this. The point is not this, you know? And so he basically said that we should be lying about our medical exemptions, and we just want to get through this. So after he says that, I kind of know like the way that this conversation is going to go. I was really hoping he would be like that sheriff in Howard County, and instead of his statements, and along with the PAPD about their policy through all this COVID stuff is to educate. So a couple of things with that. I'm not sure when it became the sheriff's job to educate and not enforce the law and protect the people. That's just my opinion. I'm not speaking for everybody. But then also, if you get an invitation to address the public, isn't that educating the public? Yeah. I mean, he told me a bunch of things about how we were supposed to, right. I mean, if you're gonna take the stance that it's your job to educate the public, come educate us. Yeah. And
Right.
instead, he chose not to. He has nowhere to be on Saturday at 10 a.m. I don't care what he says. There's no more important thing to show up to than this, as a sheriff of this county.
Yeah.
And he should be held accountable for that.
We voted him in.
It's total BS, and so I did also put your email on there. We weren't able to print out this thing, but I do have contact information for the sheriff, including his personal cell phone number, and also an email. And then I also did write a little blip, if you just don't have the words, I wrote my little opinionated piece. If you want to just copy and paste, you can do that. But you guys should be reaching out to your sheriff and telling him that this is absolutely unacceptable. I mean, even if you didn't come to educate, just to have a presence in the room,
Right.
you know? It's totally not okay.
You said you didn't want to lie.
Correct.
Do you believe in suicide?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
then you're not lying.
You're not lying.
You're not worried,
Yeah.
you're not for health reasons.
Right.
You don't want to kill yourself.
Right, and even the First Amendment, I mean, I understand you're not wanting to lie because perhaps you're not really religious.
There's a bunch of people saying, well,
It doesn't have to be religion, it could just be faith.
Faith,
So then you
yeah.
gotta battle those people who say this isn't suicide, it doesn't hurt you. And so then you've got a whole different, I don't know, it's wrong. It's wrong that I don't wanna do it because it's wrong. That's what I wanna say.
Right.
Because that's what I feel strongly about.
So that's what you say, and I am not religious at all, like at all. However, I am a spiritual person, and I do
That's
feel like
religious.
it definitely comes down to your definition of religion. And my principles and passing down what's right and what's wrong to my child is my religion. That is what I am living for right now.
There you go.
And that is my religion. So however you can make sense of it in your own head, that's what I would say.
You had said that you had numbers for the sheriff and the LNI guy. Do you actually have a pre-made list that you can hand out to people?
We didn't get it printed in time, so I do
Is,
have it and I have it printed,
Walter still
I'm sorry, I have it typed out, and I will send it to you all, in your inbox. You know.
So
kept his mask.
He still has his mask.
No, he
We'll get to it.
He left.
Yeah, so make a note on that, and then I'll send it to you.
And then 2 points that, I think she had made, and she had made,
He's standing back by the door.
about religion and health and all that
He
stuff.
was.
There was a couple of loopholes, I guess you could say, when Inslee got up and said, one of my questions was the legal side of things, because when he got up and spoke, he said, businesses, this is not an option, this is legal.
A mandate, yeah.
That's why he's a domestic terrorist.
That's not possible, you can't speak law in existence, but.
I heard him say the word law several times, which was a lie.
Yes,
It had
yes.
not gone through legislation.
One of the things that he had in the video, and I've seen it in writing, was that you must wear a face covering, you must wear a mask. It's gonna be up to you, doesn't matter if it's a scarf, it doesn't matter if it's a mask, it is up to you. And so if I figured if I'm gonna play the game, I'm gonna play it my way. So what I made was a mask that's complete mesh. So that kind of addresses his question so that's gonna do a form of protest. You want me to wear a mask? I'm gonna wear a mask that actually sticks out.
I'd say put on a Batman mask.
Yeah, yeah.
Mesh.
I ordered 2 V for Vendetta masks. They're coming in, if you haven't seen that movie.
Guy
And the
Fawkes.
other one is Guy Fawkes, or you could wear a mask across your eyes like that, you know, Zorro, a Zorro mask. It's a mask.
Covering your nose and your mouth, in the writing, so I made a mask completely made of mesh.
On your breath.
Serious questions, please.
So, our health person, I guess, what is it, unthanked?
Yeah,
Is she-
Jennifer Unthank, yes.
Is she the health?
The county.
County health person. She is holding us, our county hostage, and will not let us go past
Phase 2.
Phase 2,
Yeah.
although we've only had 2 new cases, no, and I think our total cases are 31, and how can we get her to stop this? And get her to sue
Every
her?
public official has taken an oath of office, okay? The phase 1, phase 2, all that stuff, that's not even close to being constitutional. They have no authority whatsoever to close down the business. And that's where we're fighting back and saying, listen, we're gonna get the numbers up and we're going to open our businesses. We're not gonna follow these false edicts. And we're gonna stand strong and we're gonna stand saying, your duty is to protect us under the Constitution. Law is there to protect, not injure. And if we can focus in on that, law is supposed to protect, not injure us. By saying, well, you got these edicts out there, that's not law, number 1. It's not law.
Right. Nope.
Half of what you think is law, you'll find out is not law.
He will not convene the legislature, and so there is no law, because he will not convene the legislators to even deal with anything. So obviously, there is no new laws.
Another thing, I love this ruling. This was that shot down the Brady bill. It was Sheriff Mack and Sheriff Prince from Montana. Okay, brought down the Brady bill. And what Justice Scalia said, the Constitution